Throughout the decades, CSPS has validated me as an artist. It's given me an opportunity to present experimental works that I really couldn't present anywhere else, and has given me an ecosystem to evolve my work for over 3 decades now. My name is Jason Snell, and I'm a multimedia artist, and I wanted to talk to you today about CSPS in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I first encountered CSPS way back in 1993. I was a high school student at Jefferson High School, and I was in this video class with Miss Novi and Mr. Dostal. And we were being taught how to make videos. You know, there was VHS, there was AB roll, it was Amiga toaster, it was all this really cutting edge technology for 1993. And what I did with this technology was make these really experimental art films. And the teachers recognized that these pieces needed a home beyond the school, and they put me in touch with CSPS. I presented at CSPS at a series they had called Out of Bounds, and I was able to show 3 of my short films there, and that was the first time presenting my multimedia art to the public. And as an artist, that's a really important step to go through, to show your work to the public, to get feedback, and to evolve your work. Showing those films to an audience planted a seed for me to continue to make films, and in no small way led to me presenting at Sundance in 2005. Early in 1994, I dropped out of Jefferson early and enrolled immediately in Kirkwood. However, I was still showing work at CSPS, and so it was a source of stability for me in that transition. Also around that time, CSPS decided to take a chance on a brand new music scene that was happening in Cedar Rapids, and it was techno and rave. This was something that was new to the area, and John and Mel decided to take a chance, and it was a tremendous success. And those early raves started a scene that has lasted until this day. So it's an important part of the artistic culture in Cedar Rapids. That was my first involvement in the music scene, and I drew a flyer for the show and helped out on those evenings. And soon after, I got my first drum machine, leading to my own career as an electronic music producer. Dozens of albums, hundreds of shows, touring in North America and in Europe. I graduated from Kirkwood, I went to the University of Iowa, and then started a long career in multimedia. I moved to San Francisco, Minneapolis, New York, Los Angeles, and had a lot of commercial success. Midway through the 2010s, I wanted to walk away from corporate work and become a full-time artist. I felt being an artist was a bigger impact on society and the people around me. CSPS had survived the flood and welcomed me back. So I was able to present in those same rooms that I presented as a high schooler in '93. One of my first projects back was working with motion sensors and a dancer from the University of Iowa, Christopher McMillan. It was funded by a grant from the Stanley Museum, and we put together this event in the performance hall where his dance movements triggered the music, so he became the composer. This type of experimental art, using movement and composing music from it, is something that CSPS excels at, taking a chance on experimental artists like myself and giving me an established platform to present this work to new audiences. In the late 2010s, I teamed up with some staff members at CSPS, Dan Miller and Ben Beeson, and we started putting together these community-focused educational events called Nubo Synth Group. And we had workshops where we would teach both beginners and experts elements of synthesis, mixing down songs, performance techniques, and it drew in a really broad swath across the Eastern Iowa community. We had students, we had engineers from Rockwell, we had families, we had musicians. During the pandemic, CSPS became my literal home away from home. I rented the artist apartment there a number of times and worked on a variety of projects. One of the projects was doing research using EEG brainwave sensing headbands to see how audience members reacted to observing a singer. We were able to get insights into how people process music and their internal world as they're listening. Again, there's a through line. That was my first time doing that type of research and has since led to me doing research at NYU, UCLA, and publishing in Frontiers in Computer Science. In 2019 and early 2020, I was premiering my brainwave to music system. I use EEG headbands, take the brainwave activity from my mind, and translate that into music compositions. I presented this in the performance hall in early 2020 at CSPS. And that experience and that footage have opened countless more doors in terms of getting grant funding, opportunities at other venues, and to be able to tour with this system. Most recently, I've presented at CSPS cultural research I've done on Eastern Iowa on different communities and how they use sound to induce meditative or transcendent states. Also, I've been able to collaborate with other artists, including LD Kid. He had a project where I used a similar motion sensor system to turn his movement into sound. It's exceptionally special for CSPS to take chances on this experimental type of art, which makes me deeply grateful for what CSPS has done for myself and the entire community since the 1990s.